pull you guys up. I never know how to do it on there. Yay, it's working. Oh my God, I see some ad about makeup and it looks just like my client, Sarah. That's hilarious. Okay, hey. I got some good stuff for you guys. Let me share this really quick. Share to a page. I have been seeing so much of the same patterns in my clients, in my friends and peers and other, high-level groups that I'm in, and in my own life and in my audience. It's like all the same crap. It seems like it's always like that. It's like all the same crap at the same time. Hey. I'm really excited. I got my eyelashes done today. She did a good job, right? I was excited to get it done. Say hello in the comments so I can see who's here. Hi. Oh, I should probably do an email out to let people know because I'm going to drop some good stuff in this Facebook Live. I haven't been on a live for a while. I feel like it's been a month. Let me let my team know to throw this out. Susan, can you email out to let people know I am live? Hi. Yay, heart shower. Amy knows I love the heart showers. Who's here? Where are you from in the world? Drop in the comments below. Hey. My daughter's got an earache, so she may interrupt and I may have to cut this short, but I really wanted to talk to you guys about this because I'm watching it hold a lot of people back. Like a freaking lot of people are being held back by this. And it has hands down been the most epic lesson. And I'll tell you something, honestly, hey, Jacqueline, I almost quit right before this breakthrough. There's only been one other time ever in the entire history of my business. I don't mean quit the entire business together. It was something else specific. But it was really like a path I was on, a goal I had committed to, and I almost quit right before the breakthrough. And I watch people. I watch my clients. I watch my peers. I watch my mentors. I watch my audience. I watch myself and my family, the people around me. I watch people, and I really watch like there's this, I feel like there's this line between like pushing really hard. Hey, Lilia. Hey, Melissa. Vancouver. Canada's in the house. I feel like there's this place where people are, how to explain it? It's like they're going for the goal and right before they have the massive breakthrough, like obviously we know their most amount of resistance, that's when the most amount of resistance is gonna, come up for you. And I watched to see like who convinces themselves that easing off is the right thing to do. And if they did, if they thought easing off or, oh, Houston, awesome. If they think that easing off was the right thing to do, like how did they do later? Or like maybe I had clients that were in my mastermind with me and they were like, no, this isn't the right thing for me. Like maybe they had religious things coming up, like they felt like they were going to get away from God and they weren't going to be a good Christian if they were wealthy, or like whatever things came up for them. And I don't pretend I know better, right? Like who am I to say if your soul is leading you to something? But I watch and I see, how did they do? How are they doing now? How are the people in my life doing that are using, like that say certain things are going on? And there's a unanimous thing that I see so consistently. I feel like this is so valuable what I'm sharing with you guys. Like seriously, is like 2.5 years of straight, like hardcore investing in myself and showing up and working through my crazy shit. And like last month, like through the entire month, I had like any of my clients will know, right? You guys know what the squeeze is, right? So like a squeeze is when you friggin' work hard enough that you've actually gotten yourself to a new level and now your nervous system is freaking out because it's something new that you're unfamiliar with. Makes sense? You guys know what that is? So last month I was in a massive squeeze and it was all around guilt. Like all of it was surrounded by guilt, which by the way, if you guys haven't seen, I just launched a new program. because this was the breakthrough I was waiting to do and have so I could have the clarity. And I knew. So like when I'm teaching this, I'm not teaching it because I think so. I'm not teaching it because someone taught me. I'm not teaching it because it sounds good or I think it'll friggin' sell. I'm teaching it because I know in the core of my being and in my soul, it's true. I know it's true, right? And so it's called Woman on Fire, which I'm super excited about the name too. It's just mandyperry.com. You can check it out. If Susan's on, she can drop that in the link. Maybe she went to do the email. Okay, so basically this is what happened. Like, are you ready for this? Because I'm watching this happen everywhere. And I feel bad, right? Because I see these really incredible women who have really powerful voices or just have really epic, important things to say. They've been through hell and back and they really care, right? They really want to, can you guys hear that thunder? It's so loud here. Thanks, Susan. Right? So there are these really amazing women who just want to take care of their family, you know, give back to the world and take all the shit that they went through and use it for good. And the deal is that they get really stuck. So first they start getting low in confidence, right? And they don't have confidence that they can actually provide breakthrough for other people or that they're worthy to pay, you know, to get paid high prices, all these kind of things. But the mischief that I see lying in between all of it, it was the same mischief for me. I see it with my, like, it doesn't matter if I'm in the room with these, you know, high level people and like the girl next to me is making a 400K month. Literally, that's what happened. Or it's me at the price I'm at, or it's my client just hitting her first 30K month, something like that, right? Like there's like the spectrum, like all the way from 30K month to 400K month. It's the same shit underneath. It's guilt. It's always this layer and this level. Like, tell me if you guys know what I'm talking about. Tell me what you feel guilty about. This is really going to help me because I'm also, you know, I'll help use this to create content for the Woman on Fire group. I already have everything I want to teach, but I want to address all of the things. What do you feel guilty about? Put it in the comments. And then put an emoji after about what it feels like to feel freaking guilty all the time. And guilt and shame are different, right? They are different, but guilt is the one that I'm seeing most of the time. It's usually not shame. It's like shame seems to be more sporadic. Guilt seems to be daily, like a daily guilt. So hit the nail on the head as usual. What do you feel guilty about? Because we need to start putting our finger on it. It's kind of like, do you guys ever notice with tapping? Like if you do tapping, the most powerful part of tapping for me anyways, I don't understand the Chinese part of it, or, you know, like I know the meridians and all that kind of stuff and the points, but like, I don't really get it. You know what I mean? What I do know is part of what makes tapping so freaking powerful is because you're just saying the thing out loud. Like whatever your deepest, biggest fears, you just say it as dramatic as it needs to be. Like, yeah, I'm charging tons of money, even though I feel like I'm going to be a scammer and I'm scamming people out of money and I feel like I'm a bad person. I'm charging this worth because that feels an integrity and it feels part of my journey. And like, so you just say it out loud. Or, yep, I'm going to buy myself this Chanel purse, even though my son is jealous because he wants a Gucci wallet. I'm going to buy myself the Chanel purse because I worked my ass off and I deserve it. And like, you're just saying the thing out loud, right? Like you just say it out loud. So I find that to be really powerful. So even this conversation that we're having in here right now, even just actually putting in the comments what you actually feel guilty about, like, what do you feel guilty about every day? Because here's the deal. Here's the deal. You're just lying. You're only full of shit anyway, right? So like if you're feeling guilty about, like if there's something that you really want, like I want the day off. I want to just go take the day off. I want to go to a spa. I want to get a facial. I want to like recoup, let my brain, you know, relax, or something like maybe I want to take mornings off until 11 o'clock. I don't want to work until 11 o'clock. Almost all of my clients have the same longing. They long to wake up, have a peaceful morning, drink their coffee or their tea, do some yoga, do some reading of a book, do some meditating, write and do some journaling or blogging and create some stuff for their programs and let the creativity come out, and then go work for a few hours and then take the rest of the day off. That's almost unanimously what everybody asks. So what about that? My daughter's being really loud. I don't know if you guys can hear her. What about that? What in your life are you, hold on one second. Hey, Bailey, you gotta talk quietly, honey. Thank you. She's talking to her friend on her iPad. Okay, so listen to me for a second. That one seems to be a socially acceptable. Like that one's like, for whatever reason, having a relaxing morning routine seems to be socially acceptable and not something that garners a lot of guilt. However, what about the 900 other things that you actually really long for? Whether it's just little moments of things that you long for in the moment, like I noticed a ping to say this thing, or I long for that expensive thing, or I long to join that expensive program, or I long to be in the room with those people, or I long to have friends like this, or I long to have this kind of sexual experience with my husband, or this kind of romance in my life, or I long to have a body that looks like this, or I long to be self-expressed like this when my outside matches my inside, or the 100 million other things that it could be. Like, what about those things? And where did it come from anyways? That, like, where does this belief come from that you're supposed to deny the things that light you up? How does that even make any damn sense? Like, just think about this for a second, because this is so big. Like, this is holding everybody I see back. Everybody at every different level. Doesn't matter where they're at. I'm the newbie coach who's getting my first client, and I'm hitting multi-millions. It's everywhere. Everywhere I look, this is holding people back. So if you can grasp this, you are going to launch to that next level. It's going to take daily work. It's going to take consistency. You know, if you're looking for support specific, like, I just want to feel free to be able to be who I truly am, and to be able to break through this stuff, and to be able to not feel guilty about having success. And like, how do I deal with people that are broke in the world, but I have money? How do I deal with giving myself something luxurious and other people don't get to have it? Well, you're doing the fucking work. They're not, right? Like, you're never going to stay motivated unless you're giving yourself the things that light you up. This was my hardcore lesson this month, right? And that's what Women on Fire is about. So you can get support in that. But listen to me today. There are things inside of you that were intrinsically put there inside of you. And the reason you long for them is because all the shit that's going to come from you doing the work to believe that you're worthy to have that, or to get that result, is the thing that's going to bring you to your purpose, to bring your friggin' gift to the world. You were meant to do that. It is like a recipe, right? And it's like, unfortunately in life, our recipe was not written down in a fucking recipe book for us. Our recipes are in our soul. And so as we go along our journey in our day, in our life, there's like little pieces of the recipe are put in front of us, right? They're like, here's one piece of your recipe, here's another piece, here's another piece, and then all the ingredients is, I've never used this analogy. This is funny that that's what's coming to me. Those are all pieces of the ingredients for you to live your purpose, for you to live your best self, for you to actually be living your fullest life, living up to your fullest potential, okay? So what happens is people don't recognize that, and they ignore it and suppress it because somebody else created what the recipe is supposed to look like. Like, oh no, your life is supposed to look like this. This is what you're supposed to want. This is what you're supposed to show up as. This is what defines you. This is blah, 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 right? Just like when I ran Screaming from the nursing program, I was top of my class. I had been in school for like 5 years at this point. I finally got accepted to the nursing program. I had 3 classes left. I was top of the class last semester, and I quit. I was done. Peace. And everyone was like, you don't do that, right? You don't do that. That's not smart. That's not wise. You don't do that. And I was like, well, maybe you don't do that, but I do that. I do, because my soul said so, right? So I got whatever lesson was meant to be learned in that. It wasn't like I should have never done it. I learned what I was meant to learn, and I moved on to the next thing. And how many people actually have the balls to live that way? But all the time people ask me like, but Mandy, because I say it's easy to make money. It is easy to make money. It's so fucking easy to make money. It's so easy. Like, I think my husband too, the other day was like, when I said it to him, he's like, yeah, it is. It is so easy to make money. It's not easy for me to make money. It's easy to make money. The reason that people don't is because they don't have the balls to do what we're talking about right now because of guilt. So what are you feeling guilty about? I'm going to look through the comments. Oh my God, I cannot wait till the Women on Fire group starts. I cannot wait to dig into this stuff. Guilty about. I'm going to look at. Was guilty about feeling like taking time and resource from my feeling. Now I realize how far off base that was. That is such the first step. For most women, the thing that they feel guilty about is actually taking time away from their children. And so, the question for us gets to be, how does taking time for me to thrive hurt my children? And what does it teach my children to not take time for me, to not listen to my soul, to not listen to that prompting, right? So it's like all throughout your life, you're going to get these ingredients that are leading you to your purpose. And if you are listening to friggin' culture and you're not listening to your soul, how you're going to interpret that is like, oh, I shouldn't want that. I can't have that. That's out of reach. Only those kind of people get that. I don't really get to have that kind of life. That's not realistic for me. That's not smart. That's selfish. I can't go into debt, blah, 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 right? No, I know. I get it. I went through all this too. I feel guilty taking time away from my husband to take care of me alone. I feel guilty when I come up short at work, even though my bosses are still singing praises. I feel guilty saying no to literally anyone. Oh my God, I saw that you're in the group, Christina. Yes, this is so perfect for you. We are going to get into all of this. Like, guilt is no longer going to be tripping you up. And it is tripping up the whole world. It's tripping up the whole damn world. I'm watching it. And it tripped me up. Okay, so let me tell you, last month, it was like, in this business, you hit a lot of things. Like, first I felt guilty about even having a business and taking time away from my kids. Then I felt guilty traveling or spending money on mentors. Then I felt guilty charging my clients. Then I felt guilty traveling away from my kids. Then I felt guilty requiring more of my family so I could have the boundaries so that I could thrive. Then I felt guilty, really like letting people know how successful I was. And like, I worked through all these things, work through. The one thing that motherfucking kicked my ass so bad was buying expensive things. Like, it was just, for whatever reason, I couldn't get my brain wrapped around two things. Like, I get to look beautiful or spend time, effort on looking pretty, which I never gave myself permission to do. And I get to have nice, expensive things, not just because it proves something, but the things that make me excited, like the things that I want. Like, I was like, oh my God, that's so amazing. I want that. Like the pair of sunglasses that I got, I freaking love them. I've wanted them for so long, but I wouldn't let myself get them. And it almost took me out. I'm not going to lie to you. It almost took me out. I had such a connected value to, like, if I put effort into looking good and having money and letting people, like, I have things that now show it and people can tell that I make money, I'm a bad person. Like, it was so rock solid. It took so much work for me to break through that one, but I did, right? And that was by recognizing that things are only made a big deal by people who can't have them because they're not doing the work. When you're doing the work and you do the kind of work we're going to do on Woman on Fire, when you do the friggin' work, then things are just things. They're not a big deal. It's just a thing. You don't get all crazy because you went to the store and bought a new book. Well, when you're doing the work and you have massive epic results and you keep breaking through the other side, you don't feel guilty when you buy something expensive like a Chanel purse or a personal trainer, or a chef, or cleaners for your house, or red bottom shoes, or whatever the friggin' thing is. Doesn't matter. You don't feel guilty because it's just a thing. It's no big deal. Just like when you go to buy yourself a new book, it's just exciting and fun and it lights you up, and it's not something to feel guilty about. And it's really hard for people to understand this and break through this, right? Just cleared my schedule last few days so I can focus on me and my mission, so I can move my needle, not everyone else's. This was the thing I came to last month. I was finally like every time I have mass amounts of money put away, I spend it all on someone else. Every single time for 2.5 years. That's what I've been doing. Every single time. Everybody else gets what they need. I clean up everybody else's messes, and it's such a bullshit pattern. And I finally was like, I'm so done with this. I'm so done. There's no way I'm going to be making 100K months and not buying myself anything nice. I started to feel trapped and suffocated, and like I was a workhorse, and like I just had to just keep working to clean up everyone else's messes. And then even when I clean it up, the mess is there again the next month to clean up. And I was like, yeah, I'm done. I get to buy stuff for me. I get to use my resource and hard work for things that light me up and keep me lit up. And then this was the key thing, right? And then as I continue to give myself the things that light me up, and I continue to show up and do the work because I'm the kind of woman who does, I will be in a consistent state of overflow. And out of that overflow, that's when I get to give back. Out of the overflow that I have created by showing up, consistently giving myself the things I need, and knowing damn well, no matter how much money I spend, I'm going to continue to make more money, which is something that I've recently been hearing over, and I'm like, it's like sinking in this time somehow, right? And then out of the overflow from that, I can support other people. I can help them if it feels in alignment, not out of fucking guilt. Yes. Oh my God. Can you guys tell how I'm excited I am about this group? Like all the, I just can't even wait. I cannot wait. There's so much behind this, and there's some like legit shit to work through. It's not fluffy and small. It's like These are real things, and they're real big to like, how can I use money to buy some lavish, expensive thing when I know there are starving people in the world? Like how, like that is a real legit thing. Like, and where do we land with that? And how do we process that? And how do we work through that? And how can we shift our thinking so that we can do both? We can actually support the world in a way that feels in alignment with us, and we can thrive and have really amazing things for ourselves. Does this make sense? That's just one of a bunch of things that we're going to be working through, because those are real things and they're hard to, I found them incredibly hard to work through, and I felt like nobody was talking about it. And if people did talk about it, the things didn't like it, I was like, that's stupid. Like the things that they were saying to resolve the internal problem, I thought were stupid. Like they didn't make any sense to me until recently. I started like really being able to get some rewiring done and some stuff put into that, and it feels so good. Feeling amazing now, in flow and rejuvenated. So much more powerful than I did. That's so amazing. I'm celebrating with you, Jacqueline. I can't wait to do this work with you. It is such a powerful breakthrough. That was my first big breakthrough, was like me being successful in my business, right? It's like understanding that everything supports everything else. I learned this from one of my mentors, and it broke everything. I was at a live event in New York City, and it was one sentence that completely changed my life. And that sentence was, everything supports everything else. Versus, spending time on my business takes away from my kids. Spending time with my kids takes away from my business. Spending time with my husband takes away from both, et cetera, et cetera. Giving things to me takes away from something else. Using money depletes resources. It's all bullshit. There has to be a flow, a consistent flow, right? With energy, with giving, with money, with feelings. There has to be a flow. It's whenever we dam things up and whenever we contract, that's when everything gets messy. And it's really like, what does it take to believe that? What is it going to take for you to believe that actually everything supports everything else? And as you continue to give yourself permission, when something aligns with you and you say hell yes and you back it up, even though you aren't sure how you're going to make it work, even though I don't want to have to go in debt again, I do it all the time. Every time I go to the next level, I put myself in debt, go to the next level, clear everything out. Put myself in debt, go to the next level, put everything out. Before it was in debt in $5,000 and that was a huge deal. Then it was in debt $20,000 and that was a huge deal. Now it could be in debt $40,000 and that could feel like a huge deal, right? But like, it's not a big deal because I can just continue to expand, and I know no matter how much, whatever I say yes to because it was in my soul alignment, I'll always reap the rewards on the other side. And that's a tough thing for people to swallow. It feels irresponsible, it feels naive, it feels all sorts of things if you've been taught differently. Everything does. It's really, do you see why it took me so long to be able to teach this program that I'm teaching to you guys? This is like some hardcore shit. Like, it's not like fluffy things. Like this is real stuff. Oh, I've done that like 40 times. I never lose the back though, huh? Ask my girls. I wear these to a live event and it comes out 4 times. I gotta get new earrings. It comes out like 40 times, but I somehow never lose the back. My Diamond Mastermind girls know, right? So it's understanding that it is okay for you to have epic, amazing things that feel luxurious and make you feel safe and make you feel important and special and loved and revered and important. I know I already said that, but I'm gonna say it again. Things that make you feel important. If it makes you feel well taken care of, you deserve to have that. And it doesn't serve anyone else on the planet for you to feel any differently, like for you to feel less than, for you to hold back, for you to not thrive. How does that help anyone else? How could that possibly? It's like saying that thinking negatively will motivate you to be positive and feel better. That's so stupid. It's like saying that I'm gonna nag and bitch at my husband until he acts more manly to me. Like, you can't masculine your husband into masculinity. You can't negative your way to feeling better. And you definitely can't contract and hold back and reserve to being wealthy. Like, these are the things, do you see? They really are a big deal. And so you can't feel shitty or hold back or not give yourself things into being expansive and in a state of overflow. It's a universal law. Everything in the entire universe backs this up. This isn't fluff. And it took me, I really needed to know that I knew what I was talking about, because I feel like these are important, soulful, powerful things that will contribute to people making a big change in the world. And I needed to know, like I knew that I really believed these and that they were soul truths and not just like concepts. Makes sense? Yes, this is exactly what I've been experiencing lately. Letting go of all my guilt no matter what I'm doing. It feels so good. It's like total freedom, right? Before, what felt like freedom to me was to be like, my hair was like like sweaty and I didn't care, and maybe I worked out, or maybe I just didn't shower and I got up and like I was in my sweatpants and like I just didn't care. I never did my makeup. I didn't give a shit. I may be the only person on the planet who's built a $500,000 business literally just rolling out of bed all the time, right? I just didn't care. My energy was going other places. There were fires, there was a lot of mess to clean up, and I was learning to be healthy, and I spent all my energy on something else, and I just didn't care, and it felt like freedom. It felt like freedom for me to just show up however I wanted, didn't matter, and I still got to be successful. That felt badass. Then it stopped feeling badass, and what felt like freedom was for me to have the time to take really good care of myself, to do my makeup, to maybe get my eyelashes done, to have a hairstyle that I want, to have clothing that I like. I start a new diet program next week, which I'm really excited about. I start on Tuesday. I'm just giving myself the things that feel really luxurious and really amazing so that I can be lit the fuck up, so I can serve the people around me, including my family and my children, right? And so now that feels like freedom. Before, that would have felt like a death trap. Like, oh, I have to do all of that stuff. It would have felt terrible. So there's no rules on what freedom looks like. Do you see? It really is just the thing that feels like freedom. And then what we do is we do the work that we're going to do in the Women on Fire to actually break through those things in that programming for us to have different beliefs that back up our soul. So all those ingredients is coming your way. You get to see it for what it is, and you get to take it, you get to utilize it, you get to ingrain it into your belief system, and then you get to start using it to build your freaking life, your dream life, to design your life. I know that's cliche and everybody says it, but I still think it's the most amazing concept. Designing a life. Not reacting, not just making a paycheck, not doing whatever's in the perimeters of what everybody else is doing. Truly designing your dream life. So when you're 95 and you're looking back at your life, you're like, oh my God, hell yes, I left my entire soul on planet Earth and I'm ready to go to heaven now. Like, I just did it. I did all of it. I said all of it. I did all of it. I went for it. I was all in on all my dreams. I fucked shit up. It didn't matter. And I went all in. And it's going to feel so good. It's going to feel so good. And we're going to be ready to leave and let our soul go through some other epic journey. But it really does begin with you starting to rework some of the ways that you're thinking, right? I was on the phone with one of my one-on-one clients today, and she had she's just starting her business. So she wants to transition out of her 9-to-5 and into her coaching business. And we have a time frame all set and everything like that. And of course, what came up today was all the rules she has on how it has to be and how it has to look. And of course, until you've done it for many years and learned how to make it easy, it's very easy to have a whole bunch of rules on yourself. And so we were just talking about for example, I have to have all this calendar system and have all this time scheduled out, and how am I going to find all the time and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, girlfriend, how did we book? She was like, I just threw out a thing one time. I just got a number, 5555. And I was like, I'm going to do 10 one-on-one sessions with you for 5555. It's crazy cheap. For first person that gets it, only one spot, go. And 45 seconds later, she took it and paid and whatever. And so I was like, girlfriend, how did we book it? And she's like, well, I just answered you. And then we went in Messenger and I sent her a payment link from PayPal, which took me 4 seconds to set up. And she paid it. And then we messaged on what day we'd like to meet. And it was Fridays at whatever time. And then I said, cool, I'll call you on Messenger on Friday. I said, that was how complicated it was. And then today, what happened? I'm calling you in the car, driving to the appointment to get my eyelashes done. And we're having our call while I'm driving in the car. Where were all the crazy rules of what it had to look like, right? This is what I'm talking about. So all the different areas where you're trying to have success, and I don't care if it's in your relationship, in your looks or body, in having nice things, in having extra money in the bank, and making money, and having clients, and building your business, in your relationship with your kids, and feeling happy, and having fun or having friendships. It doesn't matter what area of your life it is. Maybe it's your connection with God. Whatever area it is, it's there's some mischief. If you're feeling stuck and you're holding back, there's some mischief beliefs going on. That's why we're coaches, right? I don't plan a lot of my shit, right? Unless there's some really, okay, so for Women on Fire, I have planned shit because there's really powerful concepts. I know we're going to talk about how do you feel okay, and not even just okay, but how do you feel really good about yourself and in integrity and really peaceful about being super well taken care of, knowing full well that there's other people starving or suffering out in the world. How do you do that? We're going to talk about some real shit. So those kind of things I know I'm going to talk about, but the rest is just me communicating with my audience the way I think has gotten me the success I have. Track with me for a second. The way I think gets me the results I have, right? And now the recent up level is probably so I'm probably going to hit $1 million next year. I'm quite certain that I'll hit $1 million next year, right? Because the new up-leveled way I thinking just freed up so much more growth space, and now I get to step into that. So the way I think gets me what I get. The way you think gets you what you get. It's not more complicated than that. So now the more access that you have to me, right? So let's say my Maui event. By the way, we have a Maui retreat coming up December 8th and 9th. No, 9th and 10th? 8th and 9th. December 8th and 9th in Maui. It is such a powerful event. I mean, like absolute life-changing, no kidding. And like in that room, they get access to me in the room in person. So now you have full access to the way I think, right? My Diamond Mastermind clients have this next level of access to me. And my private clients, the 2 one-on-one clients that I have, they get even more access to me because they get to keep talking and putting their shit out there so I can be like, oh, there's a bullshit belief. There's a bullshit belief. I help them work through it, rewire it onto the next thing. Right? Oh, there it is again. Let's slip back in. Let's rewire that. So like my Diamond Mastermind clients, Heather, my Diamond Mastermind clients, I get to track with them. I know their patterns. So I can pretty much predict their behavior, and I know like, oh, okay, she's stepping into this right now. Like she's shifting out of one-on-one, she's shifting into groups. Her pattern is to overgive her time. That's going to come up really big here. How can we structure this in a way to make sure that she's most supported, because her pattern is to give away her time and to not have boundaries around time, right? So your value is that people get access to the way you think. Nothing else is needed. All the rest of it is like bonuses. I do lots of templates and worksheets and stuff for my clients so they can print them out and they can have them and they can like go back to their answers and stuff like that. That's just a bonus. I love doing that stuff because I love doing that stuff because I like having that stuff. But it's just a bonus. It really is just access to the way you think. If you can understand that the only thing that ever needed to happen for you to have success is that you want, right? And if you guys saw my blog today, I pointed out something really important. I always see people, it's like, sometimes I want to slap people in the face and like an I love you kind of almost slap you in the butt, but doing it in the face kind of way. They'll be like, Mandy, I just feel so guilty leaving my kids. I don't know what to do, but I did hire a new VA to implement a Facebook ad. What? Slap. Mandy, I feel like I can't charge that much. Like I'm booked out on my one-on-ones. I want to really free up my time. I don't want to have all my time chewed up anymore. It's like more than I can handle. You know, I really want to raise my prices and I want to start doing groups. And, you know, I just decided to do a group or blah, blah, blah. I just decided to take a program on how to speak my truth. Like, okay, this is why you need a coach. This is why we all need coaches, because you can't see your shit, but somebody else can, trust me, right? So I'm like, okay, wait, if your struggle is feeling guilty, let's purchase a program or invest your time or buy books on how to break through feeling guilty. I know it sounds like a novel concept, but I'm telling you, you're doing this shit. I promise you, I'm doing it. You're doing it. Hopefully my coaches are on top of this shit and they're noticing when I do it so they can call me out on it. Like I will call you out on that shit, because what you're going to do is you're going to, it's like this, it's like a lion is chasing you and you're running for your life. And then we want to have a conversation about getting your hair done. Like, can we not have the fucking conversation about your hair? Can we talk about the tiger that's chasing you and how you're not going to get your ass bit right now? Like, this is the thing. Do you see what I'm talking about? This is why I'm running this group right now. If you're not dealing with the mischief beliefs that are going on, how are you ever going to get on the other side? How are you ever going? Doesn't matter how many freaking webinars or sales pages or new creative ideas you come up with. It doesn't matter, because you're consistently telling yourself you're bad. You're not feeling in integrity. You're not feeling confident. Your values are being like, it feels like the things you're doing are rubbing against your values. And I promise you, you are a woman of integrity with deep values. And if the way you're showing up, if you believe, but doing that is against my values, you will sabotage it every fucking time. Why wouldn't you? Of course you would, because it feels more like death to you to not be the woman who feels in integrity and is living by her values than it does to not have money. It feels more dangerous to not be a woman who's following her values. So if you're not clear what your values are and you're not clear, like, can you see the mischief here? And actually it's really simple to clean this stuff up. It really is easy. But the problem is nobody stops to deal with this stuff. Everybody just flies right by it and like, let me take the next webinar that teach me how to get 10K on Instagram. Why? Why do you want 10,000 people on Instagram? So you can scale your mess? So you can take your shitty beliefs and just like, then just feel like you're like, look at me, I have 10,000 people on Instagram and I still can't even make X income. And you just beat yourself up more because you weren't in integrity and you're wondering why I don't have confidence. Why do I feel like I don't have self-worth and self-esteem? Because you're doing things that aren't in alignment with your values, or the way you're believing is causing you to think that you're doing things that aren't in alignment with your values because you just haven't worked them out. Because our culture and our parents don't teach us this shit. They teach us everything else, right? Okay, I'll bite. I feel guilty for charging such low prices. I feel guilty for charging low prices. Yeah, that's an easy fix. Raise your prices. Raise your prices. I would feel guilty for charging low prices, and that has happened. There has been times when I run these groups and I'll do like $297 and I'm like, that wasn't cool, because people will not understand the value they can get here, and so they won't tune into the level that they should have, and they won't get the transformation, and I feel guilty about that. I never feel guilty for my high prices, ever. Never, because I know when you're invested at a high level, like one of two things is going to happen. Your pattern's going to come up and you're going to doubt that you made the right decision. And then you're going to keep squirreling out in that. And then you're not going to get the result, but you're going to learn the damn lesson, which was worth every damn penny. That like, if you don't make the decision and make that decision right, and you keep hesitating and going back and forth in this place of indecision, it will keep you stuck every single time. And that's a lesson I'm willing to have you learn. Fine. I'm allowed to, I'm okay with God using my containers and my arenas for you to learn the lesson that you need to make a decision and back that decision up. And that shit's on you. It has nothing to do with me. I was a person in a group of like, I don't know, like 35 people. And I paid, my first investment was like $26,000, I think. And I was the only person who got monetary results in that group. But I also was a person who believed that I was responsible for the results, not the group. So I asked whatever I needed and got what I needed out of the group. And other people may, like, I'm not sure what they were doing, but other people, and like some people got some results, but I got significantly more results. And it's not a good or bad thing. It's just evidence of like, if you believe, if you say, oh, I'm going to invest in this and I'm going to get 10 times back, and you believe it and show up as that and ask all the questions and invest to that level, you will. So yeah, I can understand feeling guilty for charging low prices, because it's an act of love for us to put ourselves into an uncomfortable space for other people to actually show up and have a safe place for them. Like, it's like this. I believe I'm worthy. When I was on just getting off of food stamps, making my first investment, I believed I was worthy to be someone who got to invest $26,000 in myself, which obviously at the time was incredibly difficult for me, to the point where I was definitely having temper tantrums and meltdowns, right? Like, it was incredible. Thank God I did it and got through it. But another person, another coach may have never felt like it was safe for me to do that, because they hadn't done their work to understand that I was worthy of that. They make it about them. Well, I can't help you. You don't even have any money and you're going to invest this much. And like, what if you don't make the money back? And what if you go into debt and then you're going to screw your family over? And they would freak out and fritz. But I was with someone who didn't care about any of that stuff, right? And I am a coach I don't care about any of that stuff, right? I've had 2 clients ever in my whole life that I thought, nope, you can't, like, no, we're not doing this. And I just served them and loved them and tried to support them to start making an income, right? Other than that, it's never a question of money. It's always a question is, are you ready to show up and do the work? Can you try? Are you willing to actually work through the shit that is causing you to not show up as the woman who's creating the results that you want? Are you willing to actually work through the mindset and the stuff holding you back and the guilt coming up that is causing you to not show up as the woman who gets the result? It was always a journey of you becoming the woman. It was never about anything else. Are you willing to do the work to become the woman that it took? I did the work to become the woman it took. The way I think, the way I show up, the habits that I have get me the results I have. And I'll shift and continue to grow to become the woman it took to have $1 million business. That's it. End of story. And so, are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to put aside all the excuses and the fears and the doubts and the prediction of negative failures and predicting a bad outcome, and actually say, no, I'm deciding and I choose that this is what's going to happen for me, and I'm unavailable for anything less, and I'm doing it until end of story. And yeah, hell yeah, maybe like, I just hired a second mentor and obviously upgraded some things in my life, right? And it's like, whoa, do I believe that spending that money is safe? Yes, because my belief is no matter how much money I spend, I'll always make more than that, because as I'm spending money, I'm doing it in integrity. I'm doing it from my soul. I'm doing it in a state of expansion, and I'll just keep growing and expanding and growing and expanding, and it just never ends. End of story. And I always get to be safe, and I always get to enjoy the process. Yes, can we just start right now? Honestly, I feel the same way about the Women on Fire program. I just want to start right friggin' now. Maybe I'll do some prep stuff in there. I will. I'm going to do some prep stuff in there for the early birds. By the way, the early bird special for Women on Fire, it ends in Sunday night. It ends Sunday night. Get in on the special. People always buy after the early bird special. Like, just get the early bird special. Just don't procrastinate and then have to pay more money. I do that often too. You can if you want to. I'll take your money, but you could just get in for the early bird special. I grew some big old hairy ovaries and felt so good to be honest with myself and break out of other people's vision of what success looks like. Oh my God. And you'll continue. Oh, right. Like last month, my October month was like, I'm not spending all my money on you anymore. Go away, get a job, do whatever you need to do to buy yourself shit. Like, I look around this house and it's like endless amounts of shit that I felt obligated to pay for everybody else, and not one thing had I purchased for myself. And I was like, what is that? That's not fucking noble. That's retarded, because all that happened, it's slowly, I just kept draining and getting less and less excited and feeling less and less important and less special and less confident. And that's what happened. That's the only fucking thing that happened. So I don't know who teaches you that that's humility or that's noble or that's loving. It's not. It's stupid. It's really stupid. I was ignoring my soul. I was ignoring what made me expand. I wasn't keeping myself in a state of overflow. And then not only that, I was resenting the people that I was purchasing for. Like, how ridiculous is that? That's not who I want to be. I choose to be a woman who gives myself everything I need to be in a steady state of overflow, give out of my overflow, and give, like, so excited to give and so in gratitude to be able to give and take care and support people. That's the woman I choose to be. The behavior of October did not align with that. I would say September and October. The behavior of September and October did not align with that. And so I got to break through that today. And it came out in a spunky way from my soul. I didn't actually say that to anyone, but that is definitely the energy I had. Absolutely. The energy was like, you're on your own now. Mandy Wobags has been cut off and you guys are on your own. I will get you the things you need. And from here on out, I'm going to keep myself in a state of overflow and will give out of my overflow. And that's what it is. And oh well to anything else. And so whatever relationship dynamics need to shift, whatever beliefs need to shift, whatever conversations need to be had, whatever boundaries need to be put up, that's my work. So that is now my work. And I already know, like, oh, that's how I'll hit $1 million. Like, it's so easy to see, like, oh, I can see how, of course, because I kept working so hard, having this huge celebration, and then like, poof, I was just giving it all away. And then do it again and again and again, and shit, that gets tiring. Of course that gets tiring. Yes, that gets tiring, right? And even like things like me losing weight, I just kept putting that on the back burner. I just kept like, no, it's fine. Like, cause I'm not insecure. Like, I'll run around in a bikini. My clients know. Us girls at Maui's, we were still swimming out in the ocean together. Like, I don't care. I'm not insecure about it, but I also would love to lose weight. I was a runner for many years, ran 10 miles a day, and it doesn't feel good to run at this weight on my knees and my back. So like, why did I put that off? Who was it serving for me to not give myself the time and attention that I needed to do that when my soul was longing for that? Like, it's so ridiculous. The shenanigans that we do. I keep thinking if I do one more thing for them, then I'll be able to do it for myself. Jane, that was me. Oh my God, I'm so glad you said that. Yes, if I just explain this one more thing, if I just do this one more thing, if I just prove this one more thing, people do it with their audience too. If I just do one more cheap thing or one more free thing, if I just give one more thing of value, then people will buy from me. If I just pay for one more thing for my kids, if I just clean up one more mess for XYZ person, if I just offer one, it's all bullshit. Bullshit. It took me so long to get on the other side of this. My God, I'm so grateful I'm on the other side. And I'm so excited to hand this shit down to you guys. Oh, it is so true. It is so true. It's like the definition of insanity, full blown. And really, it's the guilt that we don't want to feel. It's actually kind of selfish because we're like, I don't want to feel guilty. So I'm going to do just this one more thing, hoping that I'll stop feeling guilty, hoping like we're expecting them to change their behavior, which is never going to happen. Since when did any human being on the planet start showing up in a really strong, powerful way because shit was given to them? Like, why didn't somebody tell me this a year ago? Right? Like, since when did that ever happen? People show up powerful and they do epic shit when shit hits the fan and their back is up against the wall, or they're super motivated for their own result and they're getting the result for themselves. They're gonna, like, I'll tell you guys something super valuable, right? I mean, vulnerable. This is like a really honest behind the curtain thing. Hopefully my husband doesn't get mad. He's not really like me. He's like I'll tell you social stuff, and I'm like, I'll just tell you everything. Okay, so the other day, it was like 2 weeks ago or something, I was on a Facebook Live with my husband, And he made a comment. So he had joined my business. He left his business, joined mine. We were like doing all this kind of stuff together. It was really cool. And then like as it worked out, it just didn't feel good for him because it was my business first. And like he was in the business and he's a very alpha male and he very much just wants to have his own thing. Right. And like, obviously he has these burning passions. The guy is so powerful. He's so incredible. And like, he has these burning passions. He wants to work with men. There's a lot of stuff he wants to do. So he really just wanted to branch out on his own. So we just decided that he was going to do that. So he's going to have his own business. He's off in Italy, gallivanting for 3 weeks, really just being able to have time for him to create his own stuff, and do his own thing, which is really amazing. If you had told me 3 years ago that my business would be able to pay for Craig to go to Italy and he'd be gallivanting all around the world, figuring out what he wants to do with his purpose while I'm enjoying every second of my life here, I would laugh so hard at you. So anyway, 2 weeks ago, we were on a Facebook Live and he made a comment about next year, like for sure we would hit $1 million. And I remember getting this like gut knot and like this like sense of sadness, like this, oh, like, what do you mean we? Like, it has been this dream of mine and this vision of mine. And like, I remember when it was like a millionaire, right? Like now it's like a millionaire. Like really, I'm kind of already on to multimillionaire. I'm not gonna lie. Like in my head, it's already like multimillionaire. Millionaire is just another stepping stone, kind of like for people who maybe are starting and they're wanting to hit that first 10K month, like, yeah, you want to hit 10K months, but really you want 50K months. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I want to hit million, but really I want to hit multi-million. So like, I remember just feeling this ping inside of my belly of like, oh, like I have to share the credit for that. Like I also have this vision of like us high-fiving and like, which is very much how it is, like us high-fiving and like, yeah, you did amazing. And like, go get him and we'll do this next. And like, you do that, I'll do this and whatever. Right. But there was something inside of me that was just kind of like, well, I didn't want to share that. Like, I really, like, it is what it is. And I could judge myself. I did judge myself in the beginning. And then I just told him honestly, I was like, nothing's wrong. I don't feel like anything's bad. I just noticed that I got sad when I felt like I had to share that like, it's like you're training for a marathon and you're running the marathon and then you fucking tie with somebody. That feels terrible. You don't want to tie. You don't want to both get the gold. You want to win, right? So like, yeah, I felt like a little bit sad about that. And then I recognized how when we had the conversation where he was actually leaving the business, which was like such a beautiful, easy conversation. It was just like, yeah, he was ready to go do his own thing and I was ready to have the reward back for me hitting the $1 million. And it was just like, oh, this worked so good. It was so perfect. And then he left to Italy. And one, I realized like how powerful it is to just have an honest conversation because it was so easy. Something so big and transform, like it's a very big deal that we made that decision. It's going to change the course of our life, but it felt so easy and it was all of a 10-minute conversation. But I noticed on the inside, this fire came back. Like, that's what it is. Like I could judge myself, but what's the point in judging myself? It's an ingredient to the recipe of my life. One of the ingredients is that I'm the head of my business and I do my business by myself. He's still going to show up coaching with the clients because I mean, they love him and we love him and he's amazing at it and he loves coaching. So, but as far as like literally running the back end of the business, he's no longer going to be part of that. Right. So all of a sudden I noticed this fire coming back and this this happy, competitive, like, I don't even know how to explain it. It was really exciting. It felt like excitement again. Yeah, like when I hit $1 million, it'll be, I hit $1 million. And so like, it is what it is. Like, what am I going to do about that? What you want, you want. What actually excites you and lights you up is actually what excites you. And guess what? If you're not motivated to show up and do the shit for your business, then you don't have your finger on it. You don't know what it is. And how can you have it if you don't even know what it is? You get to learn like, what is the thing? And I've gotten better at this. I have to say, it's been a big challenge for me to figure these things out, right? They're like, it's not been easy for me to figure out what I want because it's so many years of survival. It's just a challenge. And I also know that that's also a belief, like that it probably stems from being like, oh, but I went through so much stuff. It's so hard for me to figure out, there's probably a little bit of a belief in there that I can shift myself. But as it stands now, it's been, as of now, it's a challenge for me to really put my finger on what lights me up. So the second I got that feeling, I was like, that's it. I was looking in the wrong place. The truth was, I wanted to be in charge of my business by myself. I wanted to be the head of my business and to run my business. I had done all the work and that was just what felt good for me. And I got to have that. And all I had to do was have a conversation and that was it. And it was that easy. I'm like, why do we overcomplicate the shit out of stuff? Now, I wouldn't have never had that conversation if I had been stuck in guilt, if I hadn't worked through the stuff I had just worked through. I would have never had that conversation if I felt like a bad person because I wanted to be the person who hit $1 million on my own. I didn't want to fucking share that victory with someone. Like if I had judged myself on that, I would have stepped out of soul and I would have started controlling it based on what made me look good and made me feel like I was in integrity and in my values. And I would have stepped out of soul and I would have continued to go down, 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 down. Where instead of judging myself, instead of putting some rules there, I just told the truth and then just made a request and then cleaned it up. And then I expanded right on the other side of that. Instantly, I felt like, whew, like this huge expansion and excitement come right back. Do you see what I'm saying? And the heels of all this is guilt. It's what I watch. The guilt, 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 the endless fucking non-stop guilt that I see with everybody around me. I feel guilty from like a peer of mine that I heard say, like it really just struck me when she said this, but she said, like here I was feeling so guilty buying my first Chanel purse, and she was feeling so guilty having gone to the store to shop for, I think it was a Louis Vuitton bag or something. It was funny because it was similar, while she had a babysitter at home, babysitting her kid. And I was like, oh, that's just the next level of it. I feel guilty now, but then I'll feel guilty if I'm actually shopping for it and leaving my kids at home, or I'll feel like, you see what I'm saying? It's all the same shit. It's guilt. Fuck guilt. Fuck it. And it does take balls and it takes faith to trust, right? Like that was who would have thought it was a faith move for me to buy a Chanel? Like, who would have thought that was surrender? That was total, complete surrender. I remember one of my mentors posted that. Just so you know, it can be an act of surrender to buy a Chanel bag. I was like, yep. Like, it really, truly is. Like, and who would have thought as an act of surrender and me just staying in integrity and alignment with my soul, that it was something that was like God requested, right? Because that's what I feel like a prompt is. It's like a little God request that I maintain earning the $1 million on my own as my own person. Like, who would have thought? Because it's so easy to judge those things. But I don't anymore. And I'm really grateful for that because I get to move fast now. I get to navigate and move waters really fast, learn the lesson, on to the next thing, keep up leveling, keep going, keep going. And this last month I let it kick my ass and I was like, okay, now I know that won't happen for like another 2 years. Past that one now. This is so good. I'm glad, Jane. Does it ever get to the point of not getting in debt? I've been thinking about it a lot. Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, well, it depends on how fast you're always growing, right? So like, when you're at 50K months and you want to hit 100K months, and maybe you're hiring that new team that, okay, how do I explain this? That's a loaded question. 100% yes, it gets to the place where you don't be in debt. Of course it does. When you have $1 million in savings. But when you have $1 million in savings, maybe it feels really good to have the $1 million in savings and you don't want to use your savings and you want to use your business credit card for the next big, huge thing that you're doing to hit 10 million. Maybe you're going to put $1 million down in Facebook ads and you're going to use your business card for that because you don't want to take the money out of your savings account. Do you see what I'm saying? Or maybe you have 10 million in your savings account or let's use way smaller numbers. Sorry. That probably doesn't help at all. Okay. Let's say you have $10,000 in your savings account and you're making your monthly bills, and then you really want to go to like a one-day event where you're learning some epic funnel or something like that, and you have to pay $10,000. You may not want to use the money in your savings because it just feels really safe and good to have the money in your savings. I was literally made this exact decision. I had $10,000 in the savings. I was going to a one-day event, which turns out to be crap, but I went to a one-day event. And actually it was amazing though, because it taught me how to do the same thing, but to do it better. So then I learned how to do my one day, the one day with Mandy, which by the way, I have a spot open for this month. This month just opened. So we have one spot open for like literally you fly down to Florida and spend the entire day with me. And I get all my hands on your business and teach you everything I fucking can in one day, which is a lot, like a ton. I would jump on this. Like, I'm kind of surprised people don't jump on that faster. Like, people have jumped on it. It's sold out, but like they should be jumping a lot faster. This is huge. Anyways, I learned that from going there. So I had the 10,000 in the bank, and then I had to pay 10,000 for this, and I had money coming in consistently. I had $10,000 in my business account. I always had 10,000 in my business account. I never let it go below that because that would just cover a couple months in case something ever happened. That's just what felt good. So I had a decision where I was going to put that 10,000 on a credit card. I was going to use all the money in my business, or I was going to use the money in my savings, and I put the money on a credit card. So, I mean, technically you could call that debt or not debt, but that's smart business. That's savvy business, right? Because now I have the whole entire month to pay off that 10,000 on my credit card. It's extra motivation for me. And like the new rule is just that I get to have savings. I always have savings. I put 30% away on my taxes. And then so like my taxes are only like 21% or something. So like every quarter I have an extra, 20, 30, 40 grand in there. And that's just how I do things, right? So, but I also just put like $20,000 on my credit card. Like, it's just no big deal, because I understand that going into debt gets me to the next level still currently, right? So by next year, I'm sure that everything will be like 30, 40K in all the accounts. And then maybe I'm putting 40K on my credit card, or maybe I'm not. Maybe at that time it feels good to use the money and not have leftover money. But throughout the year, I'm always paying off the credit cards in full. I never fully carry a balance long term, but I do in the beginning. So like when I hired the second mentor, I hire new team members, or I hire someone to like teach me the new whatever thing that's going on, I'll put that on my credit card. Or like when I bought the Chanel bags, whatever I put it on the credit card, I get all these points on credit cards. Maybe I'll pay it off at the end of the month, maybe I won't, but I don't freaking care. Like it's like so irrelevant. People make things such a big deal. Like it's just no big deal. In the beginning, I put every penny of everything on my credit cards. Do you think I'm glad I did that? Like other people are like, no, if they have to put it on credit cards, they shouldn't be going into debt. I don't know. I think that's fucking retarded. And I think every wealthy person I've ever read a book from, every wealthy person I've ever learned from or read a book from, all say to utilize someone else's money for them to get wealthy. Like that's how they did. It's a different way of thinking when you're wealthy. It just doesn't matter. And you could take that credit card debt and you could roll it over into a new credit card with 0% APR every single year and never pay any interest on that while you're building your business. Do you see what I'm saying? Like you have to be willing to do the ballsy shit. You do whatever it takes within your integrity for you to get the results. You just do it until. So if that means that you're squirreling out real bad and you had to use a credit card to support you, guess what? You're going to get to the point where you can't just keep using credit cards. You're going to fucking show up. And was it worth it? Hell yeah. Asking me? Yes, it was worth it. Every single penny I put on credit cards was worth it. Every single penny I put on student loans was worth it. Now my student loans are all paid off. Last month I paid off everything. Clear, free and clear, all done, right? And this month I put money back on credit cards because it just doesn't freaking matter. It's no big deal. I also up-leveled my entire life, right? So there will be a point that comes when I have way more money in my accounts than I do on cards, but then maybe then I decide I want to hit $10,000 and I'm hiring someone else's team to implement something really epic. And so I use debt again to pay that off. I put the 100K on a business card to go to $10 million months. Do you see what I'm saying? So like, if I'm doing it the way that feels integral to me now, I would always go into debt because I'm always doing such huge leaps that it would require more than what feels safe or comfortable. And then maybe by then it would not feel good anymore. It wouldn't feel good to live like that. It would feel better to not. Does this make sense to you? I put Woman on Fire on my credit card. I couldn't figure out why I didn't feel bad about it. Because you're starting to understand and learn. You're just starting to understand and learn, right? Because if you're just always waiting to do it in a safe way, you're going to be one of those people that I look at and you still have your freaking 9 to 5 and you don't have any clients, or you're just stuck at 10K months forever, some shit like that, right? And the other way to do it is just like, okay, if you're not going to put it on credit card, then you better stop telling yourself the fucking story that you can't have it because you don't have the money. Because that is just a story. If you're not going to use debt, if you're never going to use credit cards or any of those things, no problem. Absolutely, 100%. That is next level shit. And I'll back you up. If you're not telling a story that you can't afford it and you're just showing up and doing whatever's fucking required for you to actually get that result. For some people, for a lot of people, unfortunately, I was one of them. For a lot of people, you have to have that dog barking at your ass for you to actually show up to that next level, because you're like, you just want to keep things the same and the pattern is really strong. And so you won't do what it takes. But when I sign up for a $6,000 mentor and I sign up for a $3,800 mentor and I pay that new team member or give the current team member a raise, when I'm doing those things, and like all of a sudden when I buy the Chanel bag, when I do whatever, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, I have to come up with 50K this month. Guess what I come up with? 50K. So if I had just done all those things and I had to come up with 100K this month, guess what I would come up with? 100K. If I did all those things and I had to come up with 250K this month because I took some massive leap that felt in integrity, guess what I would come up with this month? 250K. That is the way it works. So for a lot of people, and I know this is a sticky spot, but I can't tell you something I don't believe. What I believe is that you put your ass in a position where you can't not show up, and you will show up. And yeah, maybe it's not comfortable, but so what? You got to the other side where it's a hell of a lot more comfortable. What is uncomfortable for me today is a shit ton more comfortable than what used to be uncomfortable for me 3 years ago when I was standing in a fucking welfare line asking my son's coach if there was something I could do to pay off his stuff so he could actually play on the team. And I was, having to buy shitty, unhealthy food for my kids. And I was wondering how the hell I was going to get by day to day. That shit was hard. The shit that's hard nowadays, not that hard. I have upgraded my problems. And yeah, shit is still hard or feels complicated sometimes, or feels like, it just feels like not hard. It feels like tension, right? It's like tension or like pressure. It still feels like pressure, but it's a hell of a lot better kind of pressure. Like, oh, I have to pay off all my Chanel bags this month. That's a way better problem. Do you see? I'm upgrading my problems in a major way. And that's how I did it, right? I did it by utilizing credit cards, and still do, because it's expansive and it continues to give me a challenge. And when I put my ass in a position where I'm required to show up, I always will, and so will you. When shit hits the fan, who does everybody go to? Your ass. Okay, so just to recap, Women on Fire, early bird special ends Sunday night. Going to be fucking epic. Break through all of this shit, right? And I set it up and kept it a way that was like affordable for everyone, because people whose ass are really kicked with this are probably broke, because if your ass is getting kicked with this stuff, then you have patterns everywhere, and obviously you're not in a state of believing the kind of way that you would need to have wealth. So I kept it at a low price, right? Number two is I have the Up-Level Your Business Day with Mandy. That's open. Just PM me if you're interested in that. There's only one spot open this month. You would fly down to Florida with me to a hotel, spend the whole day together, and I would literally do upgrade your graphics, your sales, your promotions, I would look at your Facebook pages and your website or whatever you have, and we would be like, okay, this is the last girl, I gave her an entire, we scheduled out her entire business and her offers and how she would actually, her calendar, what it would look like, when she would sell, when she would do it, what would her sales page say, what is her message and her voice, and up-leveling everything, right? Then number three, we have the Maui retreat. That is December 8th and 9th. That is first come, first serve. The spots are limited, obviously. So you just go to mandyperry.com/Maui and fill out the application there. I'm doing the calls for that. I'm personally doing the call. I'm excited about this too. I haven't done them in so long. I'm doing the calls for Maui. So if you have any, I'm doing the calls for Maui. Not if you have anything, just, I feel like that's pretty amazing. I'm excited to do them. And of course, for anyone who feels like they're really needing a jump start to get started, we have the membership. That's also on the website. It's $197 a month, which is stupid cheap. I do lives every single month, and then we have tons of stuff in the back end, everything from how to do payment links to how to build a sales page to how to do the Facebook ads and all the shit. All the stuff is in there. And then we also have mindset and all that kind of stuff. You're welcome. In there. We can feel your energy shift. You're on fire. I know. And literally, this is everything that I learned to get myself back on fire is the shit that I'm handing down to you guys. And I literally, this is going to sound, I don't know what this is going to sound like. I will be taking the Women on Fire group myself. I will be going through and doing the work every fucking month for probably the next 2 years, just to make sure I keep the stuff ingrained and I don't shift off of it, and I keep implementing the stuff that I'm teaching you guys at every single new level. And I love myself for it, right? I have no judgment on myself, because the reason I'm this way is because I care so much about making sure that I'm helping people and I'm leaving a good impact and I'm in integrity. So it's a really incredible, and everybody here is the same way. It's something to be proud of yourself for. And it's also something that needs to be up-leveled. And that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Feels like jumping off a cliff, trusting that investing in myself will bring success and bring a new level of financial security, exchanging fear of lack for stretching and expanding to the other high level stuff. Yes. And would it be easier if you showed up every day and you crushed life and you made all the money before you ever spent on everything and you always stayed ahead of the ball? Yeah. And if you can do that, do that. If you can fucking do that, go fucking do that. My experience is that people don't do that. People can't do that. The way they show up gets them the results they have, and they need some help and support being able to get themselves to the next level. And so that's all a credit card is, or whatever other, a business loan or whatever you use. It's just, it's a way to have a result that you haven't yet earned, and then you invest it in something that helps you to shift into the woman it took to get that result, and then you're safe because then you just pay it off. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. And even if it took you 10 years to pay it off, would it be better that you learned how to become the woman that it took to pay it off in 10 years and now you have $1 million business? Yes. If we look at this from being 95 and we look back on our life, you look at it a whole differently than oh my God, what if I have to pay that 12% interest fee for 1 month? Come on, shut up, knock it off. Of course, I'm saying shut up to your pattern and not you. Well, no, I'm saying shut up to you. Because I love you that much. Okay, I need to go hang with my daughter now. She's got a sore throat. I love you guys so much. I didn't see Unreal. Thank you for this. You're so welcome, Chloe. I didn't see any specifics recommendations for things to go through for Women on Fire. So for everybody who's joining, of course, you'll get added to the group right away. I'm going to throw some prep work in there just because I'm so excited to do it. That's all. And also feel free once you're in the private group to just say the fucking thing that you feel guilty about, because I'll make sure that we have specific training around that thing so we can rewire that really powerfully, and watch and wait to see the results on the other side. The second you shift it, it's like, poof, and then you'll hit another one. It doesn't matter. Then you'll know, now you'll know the tools to be able to get through it. Makes sense? Okay, guys, I love you so much. I forgot that I missed doing Facebook Lives. I'll probably do more. I just forgot about doing them, I think. I was getting my ass kicked. Who are we kidding? I was freaking out about buying expensive things. Seems so silly now, right? Break through it, and right on the other side, it's all silly. Doesn't matter. All right, guys, I love you so much. Remember to PM me if you're interested in the Up-Level Your Business Day with me, or go to the MandyPerry.com Maui for the retreat, which is fucking life-changing. Get your ass there. Or MandyPerry.com for Woman on Fire. Love you. Have a great night.